Alright then gang, so another feature we can use in SASS is the extend feature. Now the extend feature allows us to extend or inherit CSS properties from another rule. It's a little bit like using a mixin, but with some differences, which we're going to talk about later. To begin with, we'll see in action by creating a new simple Navbar component for our library. So let me first create a new file called _navbar.scss inside the components folder. And then we also need to import this new file inside the index.sass file where we bring everything together. So let's do that below the other components by typing @import, and then we want to go into the components folder and then /navbar. Alright then, so the first thing we need in this navbar file is a basic navbar rule. So we're going to make a selector which is a class of navbar. And then inside this selector, I'm going to give it a padding property, which will be the base padding variable that we made earlier in the Y direction, and then the base padding times 2 in the X direction, up and down. I'm also going to give this a box shadow property, which will be the base box shadow variable that we made earlier as well. Alright, so nested inside our navbars, we might have a site title, right? So I'm going to nest another rule inside this navbar, which will be the class selector site title. And then inside that, we'll just give it a font size property. And that is going to be the font size large variable that we created earlier as well. All right, so we have this basic navbar rule, but I want to add some styles for its layout too. I want it to display as flex. I want to justify the items, etc. Now I could add these properties in here directly, but I'm not going to do that because it would make that group of properties less reusable. So instead I'm going to make another rule at the top of the page called flex layout, which is a class selector. And we can see here the properties I've already added to it. It's got a width of 100%, display flex, align items centrally, that's in the vertical direction, justify content using space between, and then a box sizing of border box. So these are basically all the properties I want to add to the navbar class down here. So to do that, I can just say down here @extend, and then whatever other select I want to extend, in our case .flex-layout, which is the name of the class up here at the top, and that will basically apply all of these properties up here to this navbar class as well. So like I said before, this is a bit similar to a mixin in that it groups together a selection of CSS properties which can easily be reused in other selectors, but there are a couple of differences. First, we don't pass arguments when we're using extend. We literally just extend another CSS rule, so if you need arguments, you'd use a mixin. Second, the way this is compiled into CSS is different than if we'd used a mixin. So let me demo that. If we go to the output CSS file and search for navbar, then we're going to see the rules are bunched together, comma separated, and they include those common extended styles. And any other rule that extended the flex layout class would also be bunched up here in the same kind of list of rules. Now, if we were using a mixin instead, then they wouldn't be comma separated like this. They'd all have their own separate rules with the properties duplicated. All right. So now we know how to extend rules. Let's carry on with this navbar component. In fact, we'll try using this in our HTML page to see what it looks like so far. So at the top of the body in here, outside of the container, I'm going to create a nav element, and I'm going to give that a class of navbar, which is what we just made a rule for. I'm also going to give this a class of text-white and a class of MB-4 to give it some margin at the bottom. Alright, so inside that now we'll do an H2 with a class of site-title, which we also created a rule for to style the font size of this nav title, right? And I'll just type in here Shinobi CSS. Okay. So finally, we're going to have a paragraph tag below the H2 with a bit of text inside it, and I'll just type inside that a lightweight CSS library for dev ninjas. And then now we've done that, we can save this and we can take a look in the browser. But actually, before we do that, I just want to get rid of this text white again, because I just realized that if we do that, the text isn't going to show up because we've not given this a background color yet. So let me save that now And now we'll preview this in the background, or rather in the browser, and we can see this navbar at the top. So we have the title on the left and this way over on the right, and it's over on the right because we have the space between value for the justified content property. So there's a lot of space between these two things right here. Now this is good, but I don't want it to be full width. I want the navbar in the background to be full width with this box shadow, but the content I want to bring in to this central column right here. So the title and this thing. So what we could do is we could place a container around this content right here. So let's try doing that. I'm going to create now a div with a class of container, and then I'm going to grab this stuff and I'm going to paste it inside here. So now if I save this, we can preview it again in the browser. And you can see right here there's a bit of a problem. The content inside the container is sitting on top of each other instead of being side to side like they were before, because this p tag should be way over here to the right. And the reason for this is that the container doesn't have a display flex property. The navbar around it does, so its immediate children will be flex items, but if we choose to put a container inside the navbar, then the container is the immediate child of the nav, not the things inside the container. So the things inside the container will not be flex items. So we need to make sure that the container, when it's inside a navbar, is displayed as flex. So in essence, we need to make the container inside a navbar extend the flex layout that we already created before. So now let's nest the container class inside the navbar one, and that way we're not affecting containers that sit outside of the navbar, only those inside it. And then inside here we can extend the flex layout class again, which means it will have all of those CSS properties applied to it. So now we've done that, we can save it and preview again. Okay, and now this looks much better. Now we have that display flex of the container, so this sits on the left and this sits on the right. Awesome. Okay, so there's a couple more things I want to show you. First, currently we're not using this flex layout class anywhere in our HTML, and we probably won't do in the future. We just created it so that we can extend it in other rules. However, when the SASS is compiled, it still generates a class for this in the final CSS output file, which we don't need. So when this is the case, when we don't need a rule to be output to the final CSS, you can change this into a placeholder rule. And we do this by deleting the dots and replacing it with a percentage sign. And now when we compile this, these other rules will still extend this one and it will contain those properties, but the placeholder rule itself up here will not be compiled to CSS. And we can preview that by searching for the rule in our CSS file now, and we should see that it's not there. All right, so that's one extra thing I wanted to show you. The next thing I wanted to show you is how to make color variations of the navbar. So we could have classes like navbar primary or navbar purple or something like that. So the way we're going to do that is by coming down here and using an each loop. So we say each key and val, and that's going to be in the colors map that we created because we want to create a color variation for the navbar. So the class name is going to be navbar and then hyphen whatever the key is, because remember, if we go to the variables, the color map up here, the key are things like this: primary, secondary, error, info, blue, etc. So the classes will be navbar hyphen primary or navbar hyphen secondary or hyphen purple or whatever other color is in this map. Okay, so inside here, all we want to do is extend the navbar stuff. Now, what do? Do we extend this right here? Well, we don't have to. We could extend this, right? We don't have to extend this and add the other properties on ourselves. We could just extend the navbar and then give it a background color on top of that, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll say @extend, and it's going to be the navbar we want to extend. And then all we need to do is say the background hyphen color of this is going to be the val, like so. And that's all there is to it. Now we should have all of the variation classes for the navbar, and if we take a look inside the index, you can see all of these now, all of these different rules that are extending the navbar. And now if we go down here, we can see we've got all of these different variations with a different background color as well. So if I go to the index file, I can come up here and say navbar hyphen primary to make a primary color navbar. And if we take a look at that in the browser, now we get that blue background color. Now I do want to make the text white. So let's add back in that text-white class that we had before. We'll spell this correctly as well for a start. Save it. And if we preview now, that looks a lot better. And we could have different variations if we wanted to as well. So I could make this secondary, or I can make it a different color. And we get those different colors right here. I'm going to change it back to primary because I think that looks better for this web page. And that's how we use extend, my friends, to extend these type of properties, and also how we can extend classes as well. And remember, this thing right here, the percentage, means that this is not going to get output in the final CSS.